a moment to propagate so that I know that we're streaming over on YouTube, we're streaming on Facebook, and we're streaming on Instagram. I already know we're streaming on Instagram because I started that one up first. So let me grab the widget, the cute little widget. Okay, yeah, I see it popped up. Cool. I'm always making sure that we're really started before I do my introduction. So let's give it a quick countdown of starting the episode in a minute. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's just leave that widget up there while I wait for everything to propagate and make sure everything's copacetic, working correctly before I do my introductions. Okay, I see that Nikki's joining us over on Instagram. Hi, Nikki. Let me wave to you. I know you're a regular viewer. I want to make sure that everything is working over here. And I also want to pull up the astrology for the week before we really get started. Ooh, I need to charge some stuff up, guys. I didn't realize that I hadn't plugged some of my stuff in. Oopsie. All right. Well, countdown timer says it's time to start, so we're going to start. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friend, do not argue with me. You have intuition. I believe everybody has intuition, and it is one of the joys and challenges of my life is to remind people of that fact and regularly at intervals give tarot readings that confirm people's own intuition. Sometimes you need an outside observer or a person with a little bit more tarot knowledge than you to say, yeah, your intuition is correct here, or confirmation that you're on the right track. So many readings that I get are about like, am I on the right path? Am I going in the right direction? Do I have the right people in my life? Is this career the right career for me? And most of the time, you already kind of know the answer. So it's not like I'm not doing my job. Of course, I am doing my job, but a lot of the time, about 65 to 70% of the readings that I do is confirming back to you your own intuition through the magic and the power of tarot cards. So tonight's episode, we are talking about working with pendulums. This is a topic by popular request, and most of the time when I start off the month, we've been doing this broadcast for about 2 years in August now. But since around, I think, September, October, I have been doing the first episode of each month as a scheduling episode for the rest of the month's episodes and what people want to learn about, what people want to know about. Now, please keep in mind, I give both astrology at the top of the episode, and I usually give a weekend forecast for the collective at the end of the episode. So if you're looking for a space in which to get free readings, this is not the space for this. This is a space for workshop. This is a space for learning about tarot and other divination topics. Occasionally, I will do a drive-by session, as I like to call it, in which I do free one-card readings. But I usually advertise that well ahead of time, and I don't really do it that often because when I advertise it, no one shows up. And then when I'm trying to teach a topic, everyone's in the chat asking for a free reading. That doesn't work for me. Anyway, If that sounds good to you guys, let me know in the chat. And I always like to know where people are tuning in from. So whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, love to know where you're tuning in from. Hi, Zuri. Welcome to the broadcast. I did put up a new overlay for those of you watching on Facebook and on YouTube. So we have in the sidebar section the agenda for this evening's festivities, which is starting off with the astro-weather from Teresa Reed's wonderful Astrobiz Digest. Then we move into the topic for tonight's episode, which is working with pendulums. I do have pretty much, I think, 3 things in the description where it's just like, what is a pendulum? What is it used for? Because different divination methods are not all created equal, and they're for different things. So can tarot answer a yes or no question? Yes, it can. Whether it's the right divination tool for that particular question, not really. Pendulums are usually better suited for a yes or no question. However, there are ways to modify your understanding of the tarot or different spreads that you can use to get a yes or no question from the tarot. But most of the time, tarot is not really meant for yes or no questions. So in those cases, I would recommend using a pendulum. Pendulums can also be used for other things. They can be used on a pendulum spread or cloth in which you can hover the pendulum over the cloth and get questions or answers that way. Very similar to using a Ouija board and a planchette to get messages. That's another way that pendulums can be used. We're not really going to focus on that way for tonight's episode because what I usually like to do for these episodes is give you just enough information to pique your interest and then allow you to do your own research if it's something that's interesting to you, to dive a little bit deeper into it. The focus of tonight's episode is going to be mostly the yes or no and how to set up a pendulum for a yes or no question. And also, if you don't have a beautiful pendulum or a crystal pendulum or, you know, something that you consider a pendulum, I'm also going to show you what to use instead. Sound good to everybody? So I'm going to wave to the Tarot Whisperer over on Instagram. Zuri's asking, why, Hilary, can't I get a free reading? I know you're teasing. I know you're teasing, Zuri. I know you also deal with that kind of stuff as well. So, all right. Does that sound good to everyone? Let me know. We're usually way more active in the Facebook and YouTube streams, but also it is a really, really beautiful day out in my neck of the woods. I don't know if you can tell behind me, maybe not so much on Instagram, but definitely on Facebook and YouTube. So this is my bedroom window. And as you can see, it's nice and bright behind me. Up until now, you know, the sun has been setting around like 4, 5, 6 p.m. Now it's 6:30 and the sun really doesn't go down until around 8:30. So definitely like the longer daylight hours, but I think people are out enjoying the beautiful weather. And you know what? That's fine. This workshop will be waiting for you when you're ready to view it, okay? So Zuri's switching over to Facebook. Sure, that's fine too. As I've said before, someone asked me in last week's episode whether or not these workshops are better viewed over on Facebook and YouTube instead of Instagram. They were someone that was tuning in through IGTV or IG Live. And to that, I say you're still going to get the information, but it's going to look a little bit more bare bones on Instagram, as opposed to Facebook and YouTube, where you can see my pretty displays using my third-party app, which is BeLive.tv. Really awesome. And I see that Zuri's over here, so I can go ahead and do something like, there we go. I can do something like this over on YouTube and Facebook. So that's a fun little perk, right? Yeah, Zuri. I know you've been tuning in on the Instagram, so I don't think you were aware of the new overlays, but they're pretty, right? And I just did this in Canva. I did it in Canva with a transparent background so that you're able to see my face. And then I put up my my handle for Instagram and TikTok. Because yes, I am on TikTok. I bit the bullet, and you know, I'm finally starting to figure that out. Anyway, long story short, yes, you can view whichever way you would like to, but YouTube and Facebook is going to look a little bit prettier than IGTV. It's my way of getting around streaming over to IGTV at the same time is my way of getting around their you can only upload an IGTV that's under an hour in length. You can't upload anything that's over an hour in length. And sometimes our workshops go over an hour. Facts. Sometimes we're just having a good time over here and I keep the live stream going and I'll answer other questions. So, you know, if it's less than an hour tonight, I will upload to IG the pretty version. So, so Zuri says, it's gorgeous. Love the new purple hue with the new card icons. Thank you very much. All in Canva. I did get a paid subscription to Canva, and this is a paid third-party streaming, BeLive.tv. Again, Zuri, you and I had to have a conversation. I would be happy to show you all of my tips and tricks and behind the scenes stuff to make me look all professional for these workshops, because I know you do live sales, and let us know when your next live sale is. Zuri is a wonderful proprietor of crystals and statuaries and sprays and smudge sticks and Palo Santo, and yeah, so you need your mystical shit. I mean, like, I'm glad Zuri is here, because I'm going to be using a rose quartz pendulum from Zuri that I purchased from Zuri for this episode. So you want you want to tune in to her live sales and also her website. But the live sales are more fun because then you can really see her interacting with the crystals and, you know, over video. You can see the sparkle of the crystals. You can see how big or small they are, you know, just things that you wouldn't really get out of a photo. Even though the photos are beautiful on her website, sometimes, I don't know, there's something about the live sales kind of environment that makes me just want to buy a shit ton of crystals. I don't know, it works. So, oh, wonderful. So Zuri says, show me thy ways, O great Yoda. Yes, we will talk about pendulums. So Zuri says, next, mark your calendars, people, if you want to get in on the live sales. Tomorrow night on IG, Yatsuri Shop at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be there or be square, my kittens, okay? Really, really good stuff. So, I mean, heck, if this is an advertisement or workshop about pendulums and you want a fancy pendulum like this, like, again, I will let you know there are other ways to work with pendulums or fashion a pendulum if you don't have a fancy pendulum. But if you want a fancy pendulum, you might want to, that might be your next stop. So tonight you're learning about pendulums, and tomorrow you might be buying a pendulum of your own. Who knows? But I'm always about giving the business to people that I know, like, and trust, that I have great respect for, and that are authentic. There's been some craziness lately, guys. Not towards me personally, but, you know, it's been an eventful kind of week in the tarot community. Let's just say that and put a pin on that. Beth the Wicca has joined us over on Instagram. Gonna wave to you. Well, if it lets me wave, what's going on? There we go. See, sometimes my grubby fingers can't be trusted, and I have to use some of my stylus pens that my wonderful friend Emily gave to me. Maybe I should just get these pens of my own. She gave me all the information. So, but it's like pen on one side, stylus on the other side. And I have, like, I don't know, I have at least 20 of these, all with Emily's information. She's a wonderful horse vet. So, But yeah, I got to use this stylus for my IGTVs. Otherwise, my grubby fingers are pushing everything all over the place. Anyway, so Zuri says, thank you for the sweet shout out. You're very, very welcome. And hopefully we'll meet up again at next year's Reader Studio if it happens. Yes, I hope that too, Zuri. It was really nice to see you on the last one, even though I crashed the last one. I didn't actually attend the last one, but I showed up briefly. Mostly to drink wine and hang out with people and watch Game of Thrones. I think it was still I think Game of Thrones was still on the last time. So it's either 2 or 3 years ago. Not sure. Anyway, back to tonight's episode. This is the reason why sometimes we run long, folks. I wax philosophical. I might as well call this, Tarot by Hilary tangents like Therese Reed does for her morning IGs. Anyway, so tonight's episode, we will be talking about working with pendulums. If you want a pendulum that's fancy and pretty, make sure you attend Zuri's live sales tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on IG, Instagram. Okay, so enough of that. Let's go to the astro-weather from Theresa Reed's wonderful AstroBiz Digest. I haven't pulled it up yet because I got distracted, but let me go ahead and do that. And I will show you in the stream here. See, this is the problem with the cute overlay. Sometimes it'll overlay over, what I'm trying to do here. But the AstroBiz Digest is $99 subscription for the year, and then you get astrology right in your inbox in layman's terms. So you're not have to figure out what a void moon means to you, or what a moon in Pisces would mean, or a full moon in Pisces, or whatever. Theresa gives you both the astrology, and then she also explains the astrology and what you might find in navigating that energy for that day, that week, that month, that year. So I'm seeing a flood of hearts for that. So yeah. It's really, really great. $99 for your subscription when you're basically getting like 52 emails a year. If not more than that, like every single week, astro updates. It's just great. It's a wonderful service. So that's the reason why I start out every week's episode with astrology from the AstroBiz Digest for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I want to give you guys just enough so that you can get hooked, and then go over to Theresa's website and purchase the AstroBiz Digest for yourself, so you can find out what Monday, Wednesday, Thursday is happening for you. So Deanna Tarot Medium joined, and I'm not going to touch it with my grubby fingers. Thank you very much. Let me use my stylus. So waving to Deanna Tarot Medium. Okay, so on screen here, which I'm going to go ahead and display over on Facebook and YouTube. Again, apologies for the bare bones stuff on IG, but you're still getting the information. So here's the website if you wanted to purchase or take a look at the purchase page for the AstroBiz Digest. Always want to give props to Theresa because, again, I don't know astrology myself. I'm not a professional astrologer. I am a professional tarot reader. Big difference there, folks. Sometimes people have come into my inbox or actually purchased a tarot reading with me, and then has asked for like synastry readings or comparison of natal charts. And it's just like, I'm not an astrologer. I can't do that. And I actually did a blog post about that, which I think I named Jack of All Trades, which is basically like, hey, I'm a tarot reader. I'm not an astrologer. I can't give you past life. I can't, do a past life regression. I can't do this, like, here are the things that I can do. Here are the things that I can't do. And I never claimed to do that either. All right, let's see. Astro. Let's see if I can search this real quick. Yes, beautiful. All right, I'm going to prop this up in front of me on top of my Mystic Mondays tarot deck. And that box is not flimsy, by the way, which is wonderful. Hi, Just Jenny Reese. Hello. Yes, exactly. Zuri saying, I know just enough astrology to be dangerous. That's correct. So I've been working with the Mystic Mondays tarot deck for the deck of the month for the last month for the card of the day polls that I do. Some days are better than others. Yes. Nikki's cracking me up here. All right, I guess I have to show it then. It's actually something that I did want to talk about really, really briefly. So the newest episode of the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast got published today, went live today, and it is called Rumor Has It. So we do, it's basically a myth-busting episode in which we talk a lot about different tarot or divination myths and why they're complete and utter bullshit, or if they have like a grain of truth to them. We do talk about that. Hold on one second here. I realize that I have an extra tab up here, which is slowing me down a little bit. I also want to make sure that everything is copacetic over on here because I do have this. There we go. Hold on one second. But yeah, the good. Okay, I'm good. I'm good over there. Let me not have 5 tabs open all at once, right? So we have the Rumor Has It episode. Nikki saying that box is no joke, so we'll talk about the Mystic Mondays packaging, right? But she said, great episode oh, good. Okay, so you listened to it. Yeah, it was a little bit of a longer episode. So our producer, Kendra, was like, 30 minutes, guys. Next time, 30 minutes, no more than 30 minutes. We talked about this. We're just like, sorry. But we had a lot to talk about. So it was very in-depth. And, you're going to want to listen to all 45, 49 minutes of the episode. All right. So one of the myths that we talked about is that you have to wrap your deck in silk or a silk bag or something like that. Okay. Now, here's the reason why that's kind of got a grain of truth to it, but also kind of bullshit. The reason why we say that is because, and I mean, you can listen to the episode as well, but I'll say it really, really quickly. Okay, Just Jenny Reese is switching over to Facebook. I know I'm like teasing you guys because I'm just like, I really want to show off my pretty overlay, but I kind of can't do that here. However, what I can do over here is, all right, why can't I do it? Oh, no. I don't understand. I thought I was able to change. Yeah, Pendulums Workshop. Here's the thing. I can get people to joining on the episode as well and do like that kind of split screen thing. And I will be doing that on June 3rd with I think it's OXO Tarot. I don't know. More about that later. So there are definitely like pros and cons to the different streams. Anyway, I thought I was able to change the. I thought I was able to change the background so I could do like the galactic stuff, but I guess it didn't. I guess it didn't work that time. So sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes IG is a little bit finicky. I don't know. I think Teresa was having problems with it this morning too. Anyway, so that whole thing about silk, wrapping your deck in silk or a bag or cloth or whatever, kind of bullshit, kind of grain of truth. The only reason that we say to do that is because up until pretty recently, I mean the last few years, the packaging for tarot decks have kind of sucked. And it's like, I guess it's a slipcase or, like flimsy cardboard. And yeah. Yes. So Nikki's saying Ipsy bags all the way. LOL. Yeah. I mean, like we're looking into getting sponsors, really. So, you know, we're already brainstorming like who we want our sponsors to be, because we wouldn't want anyone to be sponsors for us unless we already liked, used, you know, promoted their products. You know, like Ipsy, like Me Undies. So, you know, if you want us talking about our undies on the next episode of Cardslingers Coast to Coast podcast, I think all three of us have ordered from Me Undies at this point, and now I need to place a reorder because I love them so much. I will talk about my Avengers Underoos. Thank you. Anyway. So yes, Ipsy bags all the way. It's only because some of the packaging for tarot decks have been just so freaking flimsy that we're protecting our decks by taking them out of the flimsy cardboard and putting them into a bag or wrapping it in silk or whatever. You don't have to wrap it in silk. Just get an Ipsy bag, which is like the makeup subscription. I think some of you have tuned in to previous episodes where I was showing my makeup haul. I'll do another one again. It's kind of ridiculous. I haven't noticed not a stitch of makeup on my face right now, except for this really cool Jello gloss balm that I got from Girl Lactic. Again, Ipsy add-ons, dangerous. So it's like jelly. And my husband doesn't like to kiss me when I have it on because it's like a weird texture for him. And so he just starts going. So that's like a bonus for me, I guess. Anyway, use an Ipsy bag that fits a tarot deck pretty well. Or Jamie, a fellow co-host of the Cardslingers Coast to Coast podcast, Jamie, I think, crochets bags. And when we attended the Soulful Proprietor retreat with Teresa Reed, she had brought a whole bunch of crocheted bags to the retreat to just to give out to people. So, you know, it's really because we don't want you to mess up your deck or fox the edges of your deck that we say that. So is it bullshit? Like, yeah, but also kind of not, because the packaging has been flimsy. So just listen to the episode. We cover way more myths or myth busting than just that. Anyway, Mystic Monday's tarot does not have that problem, and I don't have to put it into a different bag or box or whatever, because this is the packaging. So nice and sturdy. Beautiful, sturdy, beautiful packaging too. It's like got the iridescence. And you know, and it's, look at that. I love good packaging. Not unnecessary packaging either. I'm not a fan of that, where you like have to open up something and then you end up throwing out a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't need. That's not what I'm talking about. This is sturdy packaging, so I don't have to relocate the deck into a bag or cloth or anything like that. So Susie B is here over on Instagram. Hello. Yeah, exactly. So Jenny, hello, Jenny. Love those sturdy boxes. Yep. Nikki says everything about that deck is so pretty. I know. It's a gorgeous deck, and it's unusual. It's an unusual deck. It doesn't exactly follow Rider-Waite-Smith at all. But it's a modern deck. But honestly, the companion book for this is really, really good too. And again, I've said it before. I think I said it most recently in our card of the day challenge. So those 5 days of tarot instruction is over on my YouTube channel as a separate playlist if you want to go check that out. But I talk about the companion book, whether it's a friend or a foe. Listen, if you've got a companion book that was made by the tarot deck creator, or you have someone that wrote it in conjunction or it with an understanding of the tarot, then it's a friend, not a foe. Yeah, I know. I see you, Jenny. Jenny was curious about the overlays. I gotcha. All right. Anyway, we're half an hour into the episode and we haven't gotten to the astro is digest astro-weather. So let's do that. And then we will talk about pendulums. And then we will do the weekend forecast. And then I will leave you to your own devices for the weekend, folks. So let me put this away. By the way, I just did the card of the day for today, 10 of Cups. Thank goodness. It has been a really, really rough tarot energy for all of the card of the days that I've been doing lately. Don't know why. So getting the 10 of Cups today was like a breath of fresh air. Like, oh, thank God. So that was very gratifying to see. And it flew out of the deck as well. Like I did a little yip. And I had to pick up the 10 of Cups from the floor because that's how far it flew. So anyway, we're still going to do the weekend forecast though. But first, see, look what I did. I got distracted, guys. Let me balance this on top of this. Okay, we're good. All right. So let's do the astrology for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'm trying not to move my desk around here, folks. If you see the wiggling of the cameras, that's the reason why I'm pushing my desk around. Because it's like kind of flimsy. It's like a tray instead of a solid oak or wood desk. Let's see. What day is it today? The 14th. So new moon in Taurus on the 11th at 3 p.m. So good for setting intentions around money, upping your earning game, raising your rates if you've flatlined for a while. Jupiter in Pisces from the 13th until July 28th. Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, so this is a happy transit. Creativity is lit, giving entrepreneurs plenty of inspiration for new products, blog posts, and more. This is also a benevolent transit of Jupiter. Give back to your community and find ways to support worthy causes. The public is going to look for inspiration during this period. What can you do to lift spirits? Be the example of generosity and hope. And this could be the summer of love. Ooh. Ooh, I like it. So those are the big energies happening this week. So specifics. So I don't know if I mentioned this before, but today was a void of chorus moon, pretty much all day long. So here's what void of chorus moon means. This is your cosmic timeout. And if you're craving a 3-day weekend, go for it. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't do that. This is also a decent, hold on a second. My eyes skipped right down to Saturday. If you must work, put your good attention to finishing writing tasks and clearing out your inbox. At 9:30 p.m., the moon eases into sensitive Cancer. Spend the evening with the people you love at home. Well, that was my plan anyway, Teresa. Seriously, I'm in favor of that 3-day weekend. Let's start it now. If you insist on working, please don't. Automate a PR campaign at 9:45 p.m. when the moon trines Jupiter. Set it, forget it, and relax. Today is a power day for Gemini and a weekday for Sagittarius. Any questions before we move into Saturday and Sunday? Clearly, my brain is trying to go to Saturday and Sunday as quickly as possible. And by the way, hydration, very important, guys. All right, moving on. Saturday. Saturday's skies are clear. The Cancer moon puts self-care front and center all weekend long. Good question, Andrea. So Andrea is asking, what is a weekday? A weekday means for either if you account for your sun sign or your ascendant or your moon sign, a weekday is maybe the energies aren't as in favor for that particular sign. And then power day is those signs probably are having an easier day energetically that day. So that's the difference between a weekday as in week lesser versus a power day. So for today, Friday, it's a power day for Gemini and a weekday for Sagittarius. Make sense? Oh boy. So true. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So Saturday's skies are clear. The Cancer moon puts self-care front and center all weekend long. This is also a decent 2 days for organizing your desk and home office. A clear space will make the room for greater creativity. Intuition is elevated at 8:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when the moon is in a happy angle with Uranus. Trust your gut if you are considering making a change to your business or any change. This aspect is also great for surprising your favorite clients. A handwritten note or a sweet bouquet lets them know you appreciate them. It's easy, like Sunday morning, all day Sunday. The cosmos are friendly, and it may be a-okay to do a little light marketing. At 6:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday, the moon trines Neptune, bringing intuitive inspiration and unique business ideas. If you're hanging with your team, this might be an ideal night for a brainstorming session over dinner. It's also dreamy for romance. If that's lighting your fire, let the biz stuff wait until tomorrow, Monday. There's always tomorrow. Both days are power days for Cancer and weekdays for Capricorn. So, for example, Andrea's question about a weekday. I am not a Capricorn, but I am a Capricorn ascendant. That's my rising sign. So that might mean this weekend might be a little bit difficult for me. It really is association, like what you really resonate with in your natal chart. If you resonate with that Capricorn energy, then maybe this weekend might not be as easy for you. However, if you're a Cancer or you have a moon in Cancer, or if you have a ascendant in Cancer, this weekend might be really great for you and might be very intuitive for you as well. So, all right. Before we move on to pendulums, does anyone have any questions about the past week? Like if your Monday was particularly shitty or your Tuesday, let me know. I will look at the astrology from Teresa Reed and maybe fill you in a little bit on that. And I'm going to use that countdown widget again. So I will give that, a minute or so. See, I told you guys. Very, very, very big fan of my overlays. And now I'm actually going to put the Mystic Mondays over here. Before, I would put the Jeopardy music on because I was able to do so. But then I got flagged, I think, for copyright infringement over on YouTube. So it was just like, we can't play this portion of the workshop or whatever, this portion of the video, because you're using music that's like copyrighted. And I'm like, ooh, okay. So I'm just not doing that anymore. Oh, okay. So Jenny's asking last Saturday. All right. That means I have to go back one forecast. All right. So you let me know. May 9th or May 8th. Let me know. I think there was stuff going on with finances last Saturday from what I'm looking at. Hold on, let me. Yes, exactly, Nikki. We can hum the music, the Jeopardy music at home. Yes, exactly. All right. Last Saturday, it was one crappy day, the 8th. Okay. So the astrology for that, Venus-Jupiter square, 9:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, puts a spendy vibe into the morning. While this might be good for getting clients to part with their cash, you could find yourself spending your cheddar as fast as it comes in the door, too. This is an impractical vibe. If you assume you need that chinchilla laptop bag, rethink it. This transit could also bring social engagements that pay off but drain your energy. If you're promoting with something with the public, don't overdo it. 10:18 a.m., Moon will sextile Saturn, ideal for serious meetings. You could seal a deal. Venus and Gemini, sales lingo. Yeah. So also, there was stuff in Aries going on last week, which is fine for me, but sometimes that's energetically a lot for other people. I'm used to it because I am in Aries. So let me take a look here. Yeah. Mercury in Gemini. Venus also in Mercury. Wait, Venus, sorry. That's not correct. Mercury in Gemini, Venus in Gemini on the 8th. Venus in Gemini, epic for sales, cash attraction, good for teaching, hosting. But it can be, I wouldn't say it's a volatile energy, but it can put something onto communication, and sometimes the communication can get a little wonky. Also, I do want to say we're not quite there yet, but Mercury is in retrograde at the end of this month. So we might be starting to feel the effects of the shadow period of Mercury in retrograde. So that might also be an explanation for why it was kind of a shitty day last Saturday. I'm sorry to hear that, Jenny. Angry most of the day. Yeah. Well, that might have been a little bit of the Aries energy peeking through too. I'm not quite sure what was going on with Aries. I feel like that was more even 2 weeks ago. So, but I hope that helps. You're very, very welcome. All right, let us move on to pendulums. So I didn't want to display it. I mean, like, these overlays are really cute and everything. And I do have like different agendas that I can use. Hold on one second. Sometimes I get a little too caught up in the minutia and not enough in actually, I don't know, teaching the damn thing. So we've got pendulums, and I'll just put that up there. But then see, it blocks out my handle. So anyway, we're talking about pendulums. That's the reason why I put it over onto the sidebar. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that. Also, that way I can show your comments as we're going along. So everybody ready to talk about pendulums? Yes. So unfortunately, because I'm using this third party, sometimes I can't see the description of what I wrote to, schedule the episode. But I know that I had 3 things on there. So one of the things on there is, what are pendulums used for? The second is actually how I'm going to show you how to set a pendulum. And this, I want to give credit where credit is due. Limitless Megan Potter, I believe is her full name, is the one that taught me how to set a pendulum. So I always go by her. Let me see if I can actually find her website. I'm looking. I found an interview with her, but I cannot find her website. Ah, that's why. No? Anyway, I can't find her website right now, but it's Megan Potter. She taught me how to set up a pendulum. She's awesome. And so I want to give credit where credit is due. Also, from the other people that I know that have worked with pendulums, it's a very similar kind of setup that they do. So I'm just like, oh, okay. So we're all kind of doing the same thing here. If you want to learn about using pendulums, using like a pendulum cloth or a pendulum sheet, you're going to have to go somewhere else, or you're going to have to do your own research, because I really don't do that myself. I think I bought one, but I don't even know where it is at this point. It was a cute, like very Ouija board kind of looking pendulum cloth that I'm sure you would just hover your pendulum over, and if the pendulum starts to go crazy over a symbol like that means something. But we're not doing that for this workshop. We're only going to be setting up your yes, your no, and if you want to, you can set up a maybe as well. But mostly what I use for pendulums are for yes or no questions. Because I believe that while the tarot absolutely can answer a yes or no question, and there are different spreads that you can use, or you can even set up your own spread where it's just like, okay, two uprights mean a yes, two reversals mean a no. And you always have to do like an odd number in order to get the correct yes or no, or a clear yes or no. So like if you would do a 3-card spread and 2 of the cards come up upright, or at least 2 of the cards come up upright, then that would be a yes to your question. If 2 or more of the 3 cards come up reversed, that might be a no to your question. So you're getting the kind of bonus information here that has nothing to do with pendulums on how to set up your tarot to answer a yes or no question. Do I think that the tarot is a good divination tool to ask a yes or no question to? No, I don't think that. I think it's using a cannon to kill a mosquito. That's my opinion. I think that tarot is much better for motivations, underlying factors, different energies, and more pattern recognition. Not as good with yes or no questions. And that's the reason why we're learning about pendulums tonight, because I think you should use the tool, the best tool suited for that question or for that job. Does that make sense to everyone before I actually show you my little pendulum and show you how to set yours up? Now, I will say, I'm going to go to the third point first, so that if you don't have a pendulum and you're going to tune in to Zuri's live IG sale tomorrow to get yours. But if you don't have one right now, I'm going to do the third point first so that you can work along with me. Now, if you're watching this live, go grab a necklace. If you're watching the replay, you can go ahead and pause the episode now. And well, actually, let me tell you what to get first before pausing the episode, right? And I see Teresa, the tarot lady, is here. Teresa, we just did your wonderful Astro Biz Digest. I'm trying to wave to you, and it's not letting me. It's not letting me wave to you. Like literally, I'm smashing the button. It's not letting me do it. Instagram has been weird today. Damn it. I would like to wave to Teresa, but it's not letting me. Anyway, bizarre. So what I'm going to say is, if you don't have a pendulum, that's okay. What you can do is you can grab, if you have jewelry, you can grab a necklace, any kind of necklace with like a pendant on it, like that has a decent weight to it. Doesn't have to be too heavy, but it shouldn't be really light or flimsy either, because that's not going to be something that we want to use. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to grab something that has a little bit of heft to it. Doesn't have to be like Mr. T Chains over here. That's not what I'm talking about. But some kind of necklace like this, or something with a pendant. And that's going to be your pendulum if you don't have a fancy pendulum, because you don't need a fancy pendulum. And we did this actually, I think a couple of weeks ago, when we were having a coven meeting and someone didn't have a divination tool. Like they didn't have a tarot deck to hand, or they didn't, and they were wearing their pentacle necklace. And my friend, who is the high priestess of our coven, was just like, all right, let's take that necklace off. We're gonna show you how to set up your pendulum right now. And this is basically what I'm about to show you, but this is also how I would teach setting up your pendulum anyway. But yeah, so pause the episode if you're not tuning in live, if you're watching the replay, and go grab, you know, a necklace such as this. Now, if you don't wear jewelry or you're not a jewelry person, grab, you know, you can grab a piece of string and a ring, just a plain band ring, and tie it to the end of the string, and then suddenly you have a pendulum. So that's the third point in the description of this episode first. So you can do this along with me if you would so choose. Or you can always come back to this episode if you don't have anything to hand right now. That's totally fine. I'm going to give you guys a second to do that. I'm not going to put up the countdown timer again. Now I've got my labradorite all tangled up here. So Jenny is saying, got my pendulum ready. Awesome. Give it another minute or so. And I'm going to look really uncomfortable on camera because I'm going to try and show. I'm probably going to have to do it 2 times because I've got the Insta over here and then I've got the rest over here. So I'm probably going to have to hold up my arm very awkwardly for your Instagrammers. But just know you don't have to look as uncomfortable as I'm going to look in order to work your pendulum. You want to have some ease to it for the pendulum to actually work. So Zuri says, it's on like Donkey Kong. Nikki says, I'm ready. All right, everyone, let's go. So you've got your pendulum, right? And I was just about to use my necklace as a pendulum, but I would like to use the one that I got from Zuri. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my pendulum from Zuri. And, you know, I honestly would recommend you guys check out Zuri's live sale because she could probably guide you to a pendulum that might be right for you or good for you. And you know, different crystals have different energies, and maybe you want to attune your pendulum to specific questions based on which crystal or which pendulum you use. So for example, if you get a lot of love questions, maybe a rose quartz, which is what I'm going to be using here, showing you guys here. Maybe a rose quartz would be good to have for specifically for love questions, for example, or self-love or self-care. Maybe for for banishing purposes or protection purposes, or ascertaining the right people to remain in your life or to be wary of. Maybe you want to use an onyx or honestly, I like carnelian as well. Carnelian I find to be very protective too, because it can be used for courage. So, you know, keep that in mind when you're selecting a pendulum. Whenever you do, I mean, again, you can use ring on a string or you can use a necklace. You don't have to get fancy about it. But if you do decide to get fancy about it, you can really specify what you want to do with your pendulum if you want to be that specific. Now, for me, I'm not usually that specific. I'll use, and I don't use pendulums as often as I use the tarot, but I will definitely like grab my pendulum if I need a quick yes or no. Sometimes it's even, I'll show you another purpose of the pendulum when we get to it, but sometimes I'll hover the pendulum over 3 different decks and see where the pendulum gets crazy to ascertain which decks I should take to bring to a client for a client reading. See, there you go. Nikki says my pendulum is carnelian. Love carnelian. It's a great stone. So Andrea has a good question. Does amethyst have any significance? Well, to me, I'll put the question back to you, Andrea. What do you find to be the significance of amethyst to you? How does amethyst make you feel when you wear it? Do you feel protected? Do you feel intuitive? Do you feel dreamy? Because those are some keyword associations with amethyst. I've used amethyst a lot when I want to have a little bit of luxury or feeling of royalty, because color of purple is a symbol or association with royalty. But also amethyst to me is a very psychic stone, and it's a very protective stone when you're doing psychic work. There you go. It was just a necklace that I grabbed. Well, there you go. Sometimes you don't have to understand it, as long as you're feeling it and that feels good to you, go with it. But those are some keyword associations for amethyst. So probably going to be a super, super psychic pendulum for you, which is kind of what we want, right? So let's get ready and actually set this up. So I'm going to take you through how to set up your pendulum. Do you have to do this every time? Not necessarily. Occasionally, though, like if you don't use your pendulum in a while, you may need to do your resetting of the questions. Andrea says, but apropos that it's for royalty. Yes, exactly. So you don't need to do this setup every single time you work with your pendulum. But I don't know. I kind of do out of habit. I don't think it necessarily is wrong either way if you don't do the setup every single time. However, I would say if you haven't worked with your pendulum in a while and you're coming back to it, then I would say do the setup questions again. So grab your pendulum, whatever it is, ring on a string, necklace, or an actual pendulum. And I'm going to be awkward here. And I'm happy to repeat if anyone can't see this. So note how I'm holding. And I'm going to do it very loosely. Now, sometimes you want to do it on your pointer finger. Sometimes you want to do it on your middle finger. But notice, it's very loose. And we don't want to hold the pendulum too close. And we don't want to hold the pendulum too far. So notice how there's a lot of slack going on here. You want it to be maybe 3/4 up. So I would say around here. Now again, do what feels right to you. I usually hold my pendulum on my middle finger, between my middle finger and my index finger. That's how I usually do it. I clasp it between the two. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying don't do it too close, you're not going to get any swing. Don't do it too far. You might not be able to determine what your yes or no is. Now, for some of the other purposes of pendulums, if you're not looking for a straight yes or no, or if you're like scanning over, maybe you do want to do it with the full slack let out. Like say if if I was going over a bunch of tarot decks to see where my pendulum's gonna take me or lead me. But I will say there's someone that commented this. I don't know. I think it was last week's episode when we were talking about like pendulums being the topic, or a couple of weeks ago when we were going to do pendulums. They said something about Charmed or, a Hollywood depiction. And it's just like, yeah, you're not going to get a hard, like, I'm scrying for a demon. Bam. Like that's not going to happen. It might happen, but that's Hollywood frufura, really. And you're not going to get that kind of drama really with this tool. It's much more subtle than that. So again, pointer finger, middle finger, whatever feels right for you, about 3/4 lengths up. So, okay. And hold the pendulum. I'm going to try and pull back a little bit so I can do this for both Insta and all the streams. So you want to hold the pendulum still so that when it starts moving, you can actually see what the movement is, and you're not doing that. You're just holding it still and then gently releasing, trying not to move it. And all you're going to do is say, show me yes or show me no. And you're going to do it in 2 stages. So that you know what the difference is between your yes and your no. So here we go. I have a feeling I know which way my pendulum's going to swing because I've set this one up before, but let's see it again. Sometimes you do want to reset it. Show me my yes. See, that's interesting. And just watch very carefully. And if you feel like you didn't do it right, like you can always do it again. But right now, my yes has settled into a swinging back and forth. Hopefully you guys on Insta can see it. Okay, so my yes is swinging like this. Now, sometimes you'll get a counterclockwise or a clockwise. So just take note of what the pendulum is doing. And then I usually say, thank you. Thank you. Now, go back, do it again. Show me my no. Okay. So today, my pendulum is giving me my no is this way. Thank you. Now, if you want to get crazy about it, and I see Sumo Stephanie is here, so let me go ahead and wave to you. If you want to set your pendulum to a maybe, you would just do the same thing. Show me my maybe. Thank you. And note which direction the pendulum is swinging. And if you don't feel comfortable about it, or you think you're doing it wrong or whatever, don't worry about it. Just reset. Do it again. And this is the reason probably why I check my yes and no every single time I sit down to do a pendulum session. Now, I don't do that. I don't reset every single time within the same session. But I will do it if I start up a new session. Like I ask a bunch of questions. I'll do show me my yes, show me my no, thank you, thank you. Ask a few questions, write down the results, write down what my pendulum's saying. And then maybe a couple days later, I'll do another session for myself. And this is a very personal, like for me, pendulums are a personal tool. I don't really use pendulums with my clients. I will show them how to set it up for themselves. But I think it's a really great intuitive tool to have, through your necklace or through a ring on a string or through a pendulum, that you don't, it's relatively small. It travels real light. You can keep it with you everywhere. And if you need a quick intuitive hit, you just grab your pendulum, do a little setup, and then go and get the quick guidance that you need. So Dina's here as well. Hello, Dina. Wave to you. Does anyone have any questions? Do you want me to show it again? Because I'm at like obviously when I was showing, my elbow was like way up here. You generally, what I like to do when I'm working with my pendulum is find a good solid surface to put my elbow on when I'm doing this, so that I try and get like yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Yep. So Nikki's saying yes, perfectly portable divination. Yep. So my elbow is right on my desk right now. Show me my, yeah, that's a little too tight. Show me my yes. See, and now my yes is going in a counterclockwise motion. But then again, I am teaching. So honestly, I think a lot of my pendulums are very shy when it comes to teaching, especially on camera. They don't like to perform in the way that they will privately with me. So again, personal choice. I don't really use this tool with clients, but I will teach my clients how to set up a pendulum, and in case they're not able to book a tarot reading. But yeah, I think this is, like Nikki said, perfectly portable divination. Yeah, exactly. So Jenny's saying my maybe is a diagonal swing. Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's funny that you say that, because when I've done maybes before, mine has also been a diagonal swing. Mm-hmm. So there are many different ways that your yes or no can appear, or your maybe can appear. It could be back and forth, side to side, counterclockwise, clockwise. And it might differ every single time that you sit down to do a divination session or pendulum session, because sometimes you're in a different mood. Or now some people have asked me, how do pendulums work exactly? Like, what is it based on? Like, oh, well, you can do it though. You can like get your answer, right? And it's just like, yeah, you can, but you can do that in the same way with tarot as well, and that is a part of learning a divination tool or a divination method, is working with that divination method and discerning the difference between what you want to see and what you know to be true, or to be the answer. And that's part of one of my gifts as a tarot reader. And this is part of the reason why some people have been coming to me for years. They don't want the sugarcoating. They don't want someone to say to them that everything's going to be okay when it's not going to be okay, or when the cards are not saying that. Now, I don't think I tend to skew negatively when doing a reading, but I'm also not going to sugarcoat it. If I'm seeing bad things, or if I'm seeing good things, I'm going to tell it like I see it. And that's the reason why people keep coming back to me. There was a very interesting dialogue from the show, and also in the book American Gods, where they're three sisters, and they're all like, I think like two out of the three of them are fortune tellers, or retired fortune tellers. And they say like, oh, all of the people go to her because she tells such beautiful lies, and no one comes to me because I always tell the truth. And to me, I found it to be the exact opposite, where, people come to me because I will tell them the truth, or I tell them what I see in the cards. So the reason why I say that is, like, this is like any other divination tool. Like, you'll see what can you see what you want to see? Can you make it give you a yes or no answer? Like, yeah, sure, of course you can. But you can do that with the tarot too. You can do that with any kind of divination method, So, and when I've worked with people like setting up their pendulums before, like, the reason why a pendulum works is because it's a subtle energy running up your arm. And so that's part of the reason why, if you saw me closing my eyes before, that is a way to kind of get out of the way of that. So you're not influencing or unduly influencing by your vision, seeing it move clockwise or counterclockwise or whatever. If I say, show me my yes, I'm going to give it a second. Yep, very, very subtly. This way. So you may want to play with that when you're setting up your pendulum. Play with closing your eyes and seeing, giving it a second, and then seeing what the swing is. And then you may want to experiment with keeping your eyes open. Does it change? So again, you can get as surface or as pruny into this topic as you would like to. I'm always in favor of giving you just enough information to whet your interest to keep you going. If you want to really do a deep dive into pendulum work, like you can do that on your own time, and I encourage you to do that. I do have a couple of resources about pendulums. One of the resources is called Intuition in an Instant. It's a book. I cannot remember the author's name right now. Let me try and pull it up. Man, I want to know which way you guys are swinging. So go ahead and put that in the chat. Doesn't matter if you're watching the replay or watching live. Which way, what's your yes, what's your no? And if like Jenny, your maybe is a diagonal swing, tell me your maybe as well. I want to know. So it's Catherine Cavana or Clavana's Intuition in an Instant. Discover your inner wisdom through pendulums. Let me see if I can find it here. Sorry, no, dowsing. I think it's Klvan. Let me see if I can. Save image as. All right, I'm going to display that on screen. Sorry again, Instagram. So Nikki says, yes, front to back. Yes, front to back. No, side to side. Maybe diagonal. I seem to always have the same result. Well, then that's great. That's great, Nikki. Sometimes our results will vary. Anybody else want to share? Jenny says, so we know what Jenny's maybe is. My maybe is a diagonal swing, and her yes is forward and back. No is side to side. Does anyone have the counterclockwise and clockwise? Because that's what used to happen for me. My clockwise was the yes, and my counterclockwise was a no. And then just recently, it started to go front to back, side to side. So maybe it's like allergies and it changes every 7 years. I don't know. But that's the reason why I recommend, do you have to do the setup every single time that you sit down and do a pendulum session? Like, no, but it's been a while between sessions. Maybe you want to. I just am in the habit of setting it up every single time. All right, let me display this. So see, this is the good part and the bad part about overlays. So here you go. So again, sorry, Instagram. So the name of the book is Intuition in an Instant, Discover Your Inner Wisdom Through Dowsing by Catherine Clavana. And I found that to be a very helpful book when you're talking about dowsing. And I don't think it's necessarily specifically all about pendulums, but a lot of the information in that book is about pendulums. So check it out. I'm sure there are other resources, but this happens to be the book that I remember off the top of my head about pendulums. But it's such a, I think she mentions this in the book. It's such an accessible tool. It's just there, you know, and it's just like, you want a quick hit, you want a yes or no, or maybe you want to hover over some things. And actually, There are some people that will do that even for like, is this the right supplement for me? Is this the right food for me? Sometimes you can even show, here, let me grab my necklace and show you. Sometimes you can even show the energy meridians in like your hands and feet. So I always try to keep my pendulum, and this is personal preference. You guys can do whatever you want. But I have found when I'm working with a pendulum, I tend to, take my hand away when I'm working with the pendulum. So I'm like, show me my yes. And it's just like, is this a labradorite? Sometimes you want to test the pendulum with very clear yes or no's, where you know what the yes is, where you know what the no is, and see if it works for you. Like, for example, is this necklace a labradorite? And there you go. Yes, it is, because that's my yes. And it is a labradorite. So sometimes you want to test out your pendulum with a sure yes and a sure no before you start moving into other questions that you're not sure of the yes, you're not sure of the no. That's the whole reason why you're using the pendulum, right? But what I wanted to cover here is the reason why I take away my hand and I don't have the pendulum hovering over my hand is because we have energy. We're expending energy, and there's little like energy, not necessarily vortexes, but they're energy points in the palms of our hands and different, chakra points on the body. And sometimes without setting our yes or no or maybe, you're going to get a reaction either way. Let me show you. See, my pendulum is moving a lot quicker and a lot wider. So you may want to test that out as well over your hands. There was one time we did this actually in one of my magical groups, and we were all playing with pendulums and, checking them out. And we did that practice where we put it over our hands. And one of my friends, their pendulum was swinging so wildly. It was ridiculous. So remember what I was saying before about like, scrying for demons, like Charmed, and you're that kind of reaction. Like it's not going to be a huge reaction. Like this is more of a subtle tool. Well, in that case, my friend had a very wide energy, I guess, and the pendulum was like almost out to here. It would look like, the swings, the raised up swings, like at a carnival or a circus or, like at an amusement park. That's how wide the circle was when it started to really move and circle around, like the swings flying out. That's what the pendulum looked like when we tried to do that with our hands. So just keep that in mind. If you want to play with that, by all means, but you're probably not going to get a clear yes or no if you have your pendulum directly over your hand. So take away your hand from underneath. Makes sense to everyone? Has anyone had that kind of reaction? Has anyone played with pendulums before and had that kind of reaction? It's pretty hilarious. Also kind of scary, but hilarious. I think I have covered everything that I have for pendulums tonight. Does anyone have any questions before we move into the weekend forecast? Or if you want to share your side to side, what's your swing? Bunch of swingers here. Pardon the pun. Yeah, Nikki says, never had a reaction like that. Yeah, most of us didn't either, but this one person, they had I guess, a pretty big aura or force field or what have you, and it was out there. I'm assuming that Zuri is laughing at my swingers comment. So if you want a pendulum like this, beautiful, make sure you attend Zuri's live IG sale tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If not, you can definitely ring on a string or a pendant necklace and use pendulums and in good health. Yes, I should have. Zuri says swinging with Hilary Friday nights. Yeah, double entendre there. Jenny says don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Yeah, yep. I think that's going to be. I think that's going to be the thumbnail that I put up on later on when we're done with the episode and we're ready to set up the replay. That's going to be the thumbnail right there. I'm going to just pause here for a second and make sure I get that caption. So a typical Ashley joined. Hello, Ashley. So yeah, that's it for pendulums. Thank you all so much for watching. Are we ready for the weekend forecast? And maybe I should use my pendulum to determine which divination system I should use for the weekend forecast. I think that would be a good illustration. So if you don't mind me turning my back to you guys, and hopefully you guys on Instagram were able to kind of see, I'll do it really quickly again. Show me my yes. There it goes. Yep. Swinging that way. Thank you. Show me my no. Sometimes you have to wait for it to even out before it gets the true swing. There you go, back and forth. Thank you. So that's really quick for you Instagrammers. Okay, so Jenny says she's ready for the weekend forecast. All right, so let us determine which deck we should use for the weekend forecast. I do have my Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith over here, but I don't tend to really go for tarot when I do the weekend forecast, but let's see. Okay. I'm going to try and adjust this. See if you guys can. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to put that in the way here. All right. Let's see. Starseed. Let me run this out a little bit. All right. Show us which deck we should use. All right, little movement on the starseed. Work your light. A little bit more movement. Moonology. Ooh, that went like kind of stick straight there for a second. Not as much. Mystic Mondays. I don't know if it's talking about the Mystic Mondays or the Line Strider Tarot that's underneath it. Tessera. Stick straight for the Tessera. All right. All right. I think the most reaction we got was the Work Your Light. Did anyone see that? Did you guys see that? So let's go with the Work Your Light deck, which is an Oracle deck, not a tarot deck. But sometimes we need a little bit of the Oracle stuff. All right. Let me move this back out of the way. Sorry, Instagrammers. You can see my very dry hands. There we go. Guys, also, I have to tell you while we're setting up for the weekend forecast. So I don't know if I mentioned this before, but so this light and stand and everything, it's from Socialite Lighting, like light, L-I-T-E. And I went with... I went and I got like a light stand, like a ring light stand and like a big fancy thing. And learn from me, learn this lesson from me. When you receive something, make sure that you have all of the components that are listed there. Because, you know, the one time that I didn't check it, I ended up missing the clamp for the smartphone. So I've reached out to them and said, that's my bad. And I'm happy to, pay for that replacement part. They responded to me within like 20 minutes. Like, seriously. So very, very quick response. And so now I have to kind of work out what the missing piece is and everything. Make sure that I have everything. Hello, the Tarot Doctor. Wave to you. Really, really like that company if you're looking for like lighting for lives or anything, basically. All right, so we are into the weekend forecast, and let me put the scroll up for that. All right. So this is the Work Your Light deck by Rebecca Campbell with artwork from Danielle Noel. Danielle Noel also is the artist behind the Starchild Tarot and the Moonchild Tarot, both beautiful decks. I don't have the Moonchild Tarot, but I do have the Starchild Tarot. So let us see. Oh, geez, that's a flyer. I don't think I need to shuffle anymore, guys. So Zuri says, sounds like you can't go wrong with any deck since it didn't pick one more strongly than another. Well, I think it moved a little bit more strongly for the Work Your Light, slightly. So all decks would bring good messages. Yeah, I think so. Well, I think it really wanted to talk today because it just flew out the deck. All right. I think that the universe is playing a little bit of a joke on us because when you work with oracle decks, you usually get depending on the deck, you get a message that sometimes is a little bit frilly, a little bit soft or softened by the fact that it's an oracle, not a particular divination system like the tarot, where it's like there's a transference of understanding between the divination system, whether it's Tarot of the Burrows versus Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot versus Mystic Monday's Tarot. You still can usually read a tarot deck because it has the same structure. An oracle deck does not usually have the same structure between oracle decks. It's very, it can be very vague in that way. This card that we have for the weekend forecast is not vague at all. And it is entirely in keeping with tonight's topic of pendulums and how you use pendulums to get a yes or no answer, because we have the card, yes, just say yes. So sometimes tarot readers will make a joke about, how esoteric tarot can be at times, and it's just like, what the hell does that mean? Like, why can't there be a clear card, a clear tarot card that means this? That's not how tarot works. However, you want a yes or no? We have a yes for this weekend. So I'm seeing a flood of hearts over on Instagram. And I think the universe is playing a little bit of a joke or a tongue-in-cheek message for us today. So let us take a look in the companion book. I don't think we need to interpret too much about yes, but this particular oracle deck has different suits. Not all oracle decks will have that. So there's confirmation cards, there's inquiry cards, action cards, activation cards, and transmission cards. Now, in this case, I'm pretty damn sure that this is a confirmation card because it's a card that gives a clear black and white answer to your question. The most direct of all the cards, these give quick hits of instant guidance and are designed to give clarity fast, no matter what your circumstance, right from the guidebook here, folks. So... Like, can you make this shit up? No, you can't make this shit up. Did you guys see it fly? No, you didn't, but you definitely saw my reaction. because I was shuffling and I went that way. So let us look. So we know that it's we know that it's a confirmation card. And it's one of 4 confirmation cards in this. I think it's 44. No, 44 cards. So, and it's the very first card of the deck. So let us, yep, I know. Tina said, you kept asking me, show me my yes. Well, I also kept asking, show me my no. So anyway, well, not much interpretation here. Can you guys see that? Can you guys see that? It's just yes. Over and over and over and over again. And it just says, just don't overthink it. Just say yes. So pretty straightforward. Sometimes way more straightforward than an oracle deck or sometimes a tarot deck has any right to be. And yet here we are at the end of our pendulum episode getting a straight yes from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. So that is your weekend forecast. Just say yes. I'll give a little bit of an interpretation and basically say, what is it that you've been asking yourself lately? What is it that you've been contemplating or stalling on or thinking like, I need to have more figured out before I can say a yes or no? In this case, this might be your sign to stop overthinking it, like the companion book said, and just say yes. And we're not talking about overstretching yourself either. Like I've been getting a lot of messages lately about rest and self-care and making time for yourself. And one of the biggest messages that I've been getting is, what do you do just for you? What is something that you do just for you and you alone? That might be a part of what you need to be asking yourself this weekend. Saying yes, not just to that situation that you might be overthinking, but also saying yes to you, to yourself, to your own needs, to your own space, to your own time. Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to give more of yourself, right? No one wants someone that's half-assing it. People can tell. People can tell when other people are half-assing it. We want your authentic self. And if you're not giving yourself that time, then you're not being authentic, and we don't want it. So take that time, find out what you do just for you, and say yes. Yeah. Dina's saying very Jupiter and Pisces, so it's matching up with the astrology as well, guys. All right, that's it for this week's episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I'm going to go ahead and take down this and take down the overlay. I really do like the overlay though, guys. Glad you guys are enjoying it. So very, very quickly, I want to go ahead and tell you what next week's episode is about so you can tune in next week. And I don't know why I took it away. All right, I guess I'll have to show it again. Let me find it. I'll find the calendar, schedule of episodes. All right, I think it's this one. Okay, I've got it. So for, yeah, I thought I put, did I not? No, hold on. Here we go. Got it. So this episode that you just watched on Pendulums, next week's episode is going to be on scrying. So guys, this is going to be this is going to be an interesting juxtaposition between the two episodes because pendulums are such an immediate kind of tool. You saw it right there. Scrying, we're going to talk about different methods of scrying, but that is an exercise in patience, and I'm not going to be able to show you a real scrying session in real time because it is so not the tool for a live stream. You know, it's very an exercise in patience and waiting for the images to arise in whatever you're scrying. So we will talk about different methods of scrying, and then you're going to have to take that and experiment for yourself. Oh, yeah, thanks. Dig in the pout. That's in my schedule. Yeah, that's makeup and magnetic eyelashes and everything. So, you know, the power of makeup, folks, that is me in that image. I promise you. The hair is a little bit more rose gold than anything else now because my purple hair dye from Overtone has kind of washed out. But yes, that's me. Power of makeup, right? Jenny says she can't wait. Awesome. Great. So that's next week's episode, Scrying, on May 21st. And then our last episode of the month is going to be on EFT tapping and the tarot and how you can incorporate tarot into your EFT and tapping practice. And I will tell you how to do EFT and tapping as taught to me by Gala Darling and Nick Ortner of the Tapping Solution and Brad Yates. Guys, it's such a weird methodology, but it works. Here to tell you that it works. I mean, it might not work for you, but it works for me. So that's all I can purport. It's like, here's what works for me. Here's what might work for you, right? So a typical Ashley says, thank you. I will be looking forward to next week. Awesome. Great, Ashley. I hope to see you then. All right. So again, reminder that these episodes happen. Where are my scroller? Fridays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm still going to stream over on Instagram, even if it's a bare bones kind of thing, because as you can see right now, 8:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're wrapping up. That's about an hour and a half. IG Live won't let me, IG won't let me upload an episode that long. So hence, Instagrammers get the bare bones, but you're still getting the information. So thank you all so much for watching. Zuri says that I'm smizing in that picture. I guess so. I didn't know I was capable of smizing. You know what smizing is, right? It's smiling with your eyes. There. I recreated it, kind of. Jenny says, thanks, Hilary. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, you know where to find me. Once again, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition, because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. We just saw that tonight. Heck, if you don't know if you have intuition or you can't understand what your intuition's trying to tell you, grab yourself your pendulum or your ring on a string or your pendant on a necklace and make it into a pendulum and ask your yes or no's. It might help guide you to understanding your intuition a little bit better, right? A typical Ashley says, damn good smize in my opinion. Awesome. Cool. Okay. So thank you all so much for watching. If you'd like a reading with me, go ahead and book one at tarotbyhilary.com. That is Hilary with one L. I am open for phone, Skype, and email readings at this time. I'm still not taking in-person sessions, but I promise you email, phone, and Skype are just as good. I promise you. Honestly, I think even better because you're in the comfort of your own home. I'm in the comfort of my own home, and we can just focus on the freaking cards, right? Anyway, good night, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will see you again, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Friday. Okay, bye.